I remember the first time I put a condom on, I thought I knew everything in the world, but sure enough, that, class in the sixth grade or seventh grade, which showed us how to unfurl a condom on a banana, when I, when the first opportunity I had to make love to a beautiful woman on a beach in the Pacific, and it was the first time I ever made love. Sure enough, I unfurled that condom first prior to putting it on my banana. And it turns out it's very difficult to put a prophylactic on your schmeckle when it's already been unfurled.
It's not too. John, what's that red book you're holding on?
It's known as the Book of the Law.
Okay, so that part I got. I was wondering what it is. I can read the gold part. The next part.
It's a book. It's the Book of the Law.
Okay, thanks for the.
Yeah, the author is Aleister Crowley. I mean, I think America is aborting itself by doing this reckless spending. I mean, that's what, people who generally get an abortion, they got financial problems, they got debt problems. And America is aborting itself and essentially bankrupting its currency and bankrupting its morality and ethics and virtue. I mean, we don't need our knights rushing over our perimeter to go fight narco terrorists in Mexico or in Colombia or Venezuela and killing our youth engaged in combat and warfare against well armed narco terrorists. That is an abortion of our future security. I mean, I wish there was some type of group, like, not group think, because that's negative, but I mean, how do we optimally play this game as, American loving patriots as opposed to these phony deep state patriots that want to see Donald Trump, you know, die or prematurely lose his presidency? There's a lot of people out there that aren't rooting for the team.
So I wonder if that thought could be segued into, instead of talking about people, talk about um, how anybody can buy. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but anybody in the world, if you have enough money, you can actually buy land in the United States, and you don't have to be a citizen.
Yeah, that
That
happens
kind
all
of
the time.
so that kind of scares me, because the poorer that the United States is becoming, citizens of the United States are becoming, um, the more difficult it is to buy property, to buy land. It's no longer owned by citizens of the United States. So, what does that mean?
Well, it's the same old story. I mean, it's Germany, the Weimar Republic. All the money that was printed up for war reparations at the Versailles Treaty came flooding back into Germany, and sure enough, the price of bread went up to the price of a barrel of Russian marks, or I mean, fucking German paper. So, I mean, isn't that the fear that all of our borrowing and all the U.S. dollars overseas will come flooding back in and buy up everything we have? That's what was estimated in the '80s with the Japanese and their booming economy. They were buying up assets left and right in this country. They bought Sony and the
Look
and
what happened to them now.
well, they're doing. I mean, it's hard. I don't think you can.
Horribly.
Well,
Horrible.
they're still a very wealthy nation and a great people. We have huge cultural education issues in this country, which I don't think the Japanese in their society have to deal with. Um, but anyways, I mean, I don't think
You're
there's a
not keeping
spectrum.
up with Japanese politics. If you look at Sensei right now, the political parties that win in, it's the exact same. I think literally their slogan is Japan first, and they use the word first being like it's basically the same thing America went through a few years ago. But if you look at the Japanese economy is, like especially if you're comparing it to the '80s, it's night and day. The billionaires who own the Gold Coast in Hawaii get the cell phone, which maybe that's not the best example, but the salary for many jobs
inflation. But Marcus, they don't have the Federal Reserve and $37 trillion in debt. I mean, it's all relative, isn't it?
They see the idea that they're still doing shit even though they don't have that. Like, that's not relevant, is what you're saying. Like, they can have $37 billion in debt or not, and still be doing that? Or
I'm saying
I'm
that.
confused on that one.
I mean, I guess you could look at that, debt to GDP as like, how badly governments are doing currency manipulation and plunging their populace into a future death spiral that they can't get out of.
Well, if we sell all of our land, maybe we can get out of the debt.
Hey guys, John. Well, it's Dr. Mitch. I just wanted to do an announcement. I'm driving past the Marine base in Camp Pendleton, and it's on fire. I mean, like, big time, so.
Where is that? Take the image. Where is that?
Yeah, hey, it's Camp Pendleton, the Marine base in North San Diego. It's bad.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
just saying this is not a brush fire.
You know what else sucks? When a soldier decides to shoot at everybody, and then unarmed soldiers have to tackle a shooter who's got a beard, and then the soldiers tackling the shooter have beards as well. I didn't know soldiers were allowed to have beards.
I didn't know Conman did too.
I mean, Dr. Mitch, what would you do if you were president, king, or emperor of the United States? What would you do for your people?
Now, so, a lot of game plan, where does it lead us? Because right now, most of the paths lead to, elimination of the human race. So, like, it's an extermination level of this. You want to preserve the earth. You want to preserve human mind. You want to preserve prosperity. Now, what?
Dr. Mitch, can you repeat that again? You're in the Matrix.
Anyone surprised at the survey results, the poll? Those of you that haven't seen it, haven't responded, there is a poll posted. It was harm more children.
Has anyone ever met an abortion doctor, at a public event, some kind of local meeting, and you were like, oh, what do you do for a living? And she's like, oh, I'm an abortion provider. And you're like, oh, wow, tell me about yourself. And she goes on to tell you about where she went to med school and how she got to be an abortionist. And then she tells you her interests in movies and arts. And you're like, oh, you're just like you're like an every other person. You're just another person like everybody else, right? But you take forceps and like rip a little infant's head off and suck it out and put it in an oil barrel and store the bodies. Like, it's like, but to me, it's like, how do they're like cute and smiling, or they're like ugly and ogreish. I'm just saying, like, to me, I've never met an abortionist or an abortion provider in the real world that I know of.
They wouldn't tell you like that, John. They'd say, I do women's health. Nobody's going to come out not say I'm an abortionist ever.
How do you get over, like I'm kind of OCD, I use baby wipes, I like to shower daily, I brush, I floss, I use, a water pick. I'm just wondering, like, how does a woman or a male doctor who does that in a uterus and rips it apart and stores the body, like, looks at it all and looks at the baby parts? Because I've seen the videos and it looks like a cartoon and so shocking and horrific. Like, how do you go through your life and not have nightmares? Like the pictures I've seen are so gross that it's like, to me it's a visual and an environment that I wouldn't want to be involved in. I know there's money involved, but to me, how is that not just like
There's a great book called The Psychopath Test, written by a guy named Ronson, where he talks about how some people literally are born without the ability to feel empathy.
yeah, I mean, I don't even like picking up dog poop on my front lawn. I don't know how people manage to dispose of baby parts.
So it looks like vasectomies are not offered at Planned Parenthood clinics. Let's see.
Well, not too many vasectomies are taking place every day. I hate to break the bad news to you if that's kind of what you want, is for more men to get vasectomies. But not a lot of men, as far as I know, every week, annually. We can find out the total number, but, to me, I just don't think it's an unnecessary intervention. And thus, I don't even think it's that interesting of a topic, to tell you the truth.
So getting a vasectomy can cost anywhere between $0 to $1,000, including follow-up visits. So health insurance could actually cover all of the cost.
Well, the great thing about a man is we don't have these things called birth control pills, which don't destroy our bodies and give us, clot shots. It's like a clot shot, basically. It's a stroke. A lot of people stroke out on birth control. I wonder if we should prevent birth control and legislate, and de-escalate birth control consumption in this country because of the negative health ramifications of taking all those estrogen pills and birth control pills and epinephrine,
Yeah, vasectomies are about 6 times cheaper than female sterilization.
Female sterilization. What are we running, like a dog pound here or something, Kristen?
The disadvantages of getting a vasectomy.
Kristen, if you were leader of the American people and you were elected the president, what would your priorities be for your people, for we the people?
The most common risk with a vasectomy infection, which is usually minor and treatable with antibiotics.
Kristen, I'm not sure if you can hear me, but I asked you, what would you do for we the people, your people? What would your priorities be if you were elected leader of America?
I'm ignoring you on purpose.
Do you know a man who had a vasectomy that was close to you in your life, Kristen?
What disqualifies you from a vasectomy? Ongoing pain in the testicles or testicular disease?
Do you think it's wrong for a man to cream pie a woman, tell her he loves her, even though he's had a vasectomy, and says, I want to have kids with you and I want you to be the love of my life, will you marry me? But secretly he's been vasectomized? Do you think that's immoral?
You can get the cost of a vasectomy at Planned Parenthood can vary depending on factors such as location, insurance. But I went to the Planned Parenthood site, and it didn't say anything about vasectomies.
That's because they deal primarily with aborting children, little babies. They suck them out. They use a Da Vinci machine. They use forceps and scissors, and they just rip that little baby right out of that uterus.
I'm kind of thinking that if somebody had a vasectomy, there would be a problem.
This is my whole point, Kirsten. Like, this was literally my whole point that I was trying to make. Okay, if Planned Parenthood, it was in the line of business and offering and providing vasectomies, they wouldn't have a reason to do abortions. Okay, the same type of people that subscribe to Planned Parenthood are the same type of people that, quite frankly, looking at the history, don't want to have children. So, I mean, to me, listen, I'm standing 10 toes down. It was always designed to kill children and to further investigating how they can end pregnancies in the womb. The only reason why they offer these additional services, such as STD testing and all this other bullshit, is because they wanted the federal funding.
This is the weirdest conversation ever.
I'm gonna ask Grok how much Medicare Medicaid spends annually on birth control and abortions. Let me go ahead and ask. Any guesses? Over 10 billion? Under 10 billion? Anybody? Anybody?
Why advocate for vasectomy? That's weird.
She hasn't even gotten to the chemical castration part. Vasectomy would be kind. I think she also probably endorses chemical castration.
Let me tell you how sick. Roger, let me ask you a question. Have you heard of this new male birth control pill?
Male birth control pill. What is it?
Yes. Well, I mean, it's funny that John just mentioned chemical castration. It's supposed to be a male equivalent to the female birth control pill. So, I mean, the only way that I think that it could probably accomplish that is if you lower sperm count so far low that you're going to, you know, you're going to ensure that nobody can get pregnant. I mean, I'm trying to understand how that's going to be accomplished through pill form without chemically castrating a man.
And you wanted me to answer this question?
Well, don't forget, Plan B is a chemical castration, but that would be medical misinformation if you say that. So you can't. Therefore, mifepristone is not a chemical castration and doesn't cause women to become infertile. That is misinformation.
It's an abortifacient. But Mojo, my whole point is that they're now trying to push this male birth control pill that men are supposed to be able to take to prevent, you know, pregnancies in women. So I'm trying to understand how they're medically able to accomplish that without chemically castrating somebody or significantly lowering their sperm count.
I don't know if this is really a problem. I mean, my understanding is that men are having less and less sex. Like, I'm not even concerned about this. Men are having.
They had I'm reading that it lowers the body's testosterone production temporarily, which also lowers sperm production. So you're right.
This is worse than going on a soy diet, Akima. Like I'm telling you, they're trying to make them trans.
Yeah, that's vasectomy doesn't do that.
So Roger, now, do you have a problem with this? They're creating a male birth control that's going to lower male testosterone and reduce the sperm count. You don't see a problem with this? I mean, Roger, you're the first one to say that you feel like testosterone levels in the average millennial and, you know, new generation of males is significantly lower to the point where they're a bunch of pussies. Now, in order for them to be incentivized by getting pussy and not having to wear condoms, they're taking male birth control, which is effectively going to turn them into said pussies. Like this is wild. Thank you for actually adding that context, Akima.
You might you be crazy as hell sometimes, but you might be on to something. Like lowering testosterone production temporarily. I mean, everybody knows this temporarily. Once you keep using it, becomes permanent.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, be suppressed so long, it definitely will become permanent. Yeah, that's
But my whole problem would be with the person that decides to take it. Like, you decide to take it, that's just a you problem. Like, I don't think they should make it before they got a right to. But like, the person that takes it is the dummy. Like, I mean, nobody's forcing you to do no dumb shit like that.
And that's where the vasectomy is perhaps more of an option, because there's no chemical stuff going on that lowers testosterone. And the success rates are generally higher than when they in reversal, when it is done within 10 years of the original.
Fascinating, Kristen.
What's wrong with condoms? Condoms actually work.
Condoms are great. I love good condoms.
Yeah, you can get a vasectomy reversal within, like, after 10 years.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Okay, Kristen, listen to this Grok question. Hey, Grok, how much does Medicare Medicaid spend annually on vasectomy, abortions, and birth control? This is Grok's response. Medicare does not cover vasectomies or elective abortions, only hide exceptions, negligible spending. Birth control covered under Part D, no specific annual figure, but total Part D spending annually is $130 billion. That's just on birth control. This is Medicaid. Covers vasectomies and birth control as family planning. $2 billion estimated total in recent years, and abortions limited. States spend $71 million murdering babies in 2015. It's kind of outdated. So about $100 million a year in abortions and about $130 billion a year. It doesn't make sense. There's no two. Anyways, the number about birth control is shocking. Nobody could guess it was about $130 billion a year in pills for young women that want to fuck without a condom.
No, so does it give you, and see, this is where you need to learn if you're running for Congress. What is considered an abortion on those itemized expenses? Okay, what is also considered birth control? Because in these people's sick, deranged mind, they could be padding the books of considering early term abortions as birth control and late term abortions as abortions.
I agree. My previous Grok or previous research is that we spend $1 billion a month and murder about 80, I think it was 60,000 to 80,000 babies a month in the United States. So it's a $12 billion a year program to murder about 1 million people a year in this country. Yep, you file your IRS income tax statement annually, and a small little percentage of that, which totals about $1 billion a month, goes towards murdering 60,000 little innocent babies in beautiful little American vaginas.
Kristen over there researching away.
I am.
You went down a rabbit hole, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, there's a success. Vasectomy reversal success rates range from 60 to 95%.
Oh, I know, but that's not really good odds when you're talking about like primarily steroid people. I don't know. I have to fall back on the whole. Why can't people just use condoms?
Oh yeah, of course they can use condoms. They do what they do.
Yeah. I don't know that I'd be promoting my boys to go and get snipped and promote pregnancy.
You see what I'm saying, Serendipity? This is why I brought it up. Okay, because it's going to create bigger social problems and biological problems or biochemical problems for a lot of young men. A lot of young men are going to be sold the bag of goods, and a lot of young ladies in taking that early freaking birth control that gave a lot of women cancer and freaking gave them weight problems and shit like that, and they're going to lower the testosterone of young men. That is why they're doing this.
And it's already been lowered over the course of the last few decades.
Yeah, the chemical one definitely does. Absolutely. But the regular snip doesn't do that.
Hey, Adams, what is your position on rape, incest, life of the mother in danger?
So here's the thing. Personally, I don't feel like a tragedy should be met with another tragedy. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know. Like, I know how it sounds to a lot of people. I totally get it. But for me personally, I just don't think that an innocent child should die as a result of being the incident of a horrible, horrible, horrible tragedy, whether it's incest or, whether it's the unfortunate, assault. But again, that's not necessarily my choice to make. But if I agree with the exceptions, I don't. I just don't.
Yeah, what about the mother's life in danger?
I mean, the mother's life in danger, I feel like all exhausted efforts should, go towards preserving human life in the utmost. If it's something to where somebody is factually in danger, then yes, I think that they should, try to make an attempt to save the baby as much as they can and, look at other options with, technology later on down the road to maybe support the baby's continued life outside the mother's womb. I'm willing to compromise in that regard, but, I just don't believe that, I just believe that we're just too sensitized of just ending life in, the form of the most precious beings in society with, with just, this just didn't work, let's just kill it. Like, I can't get on board with that, So one of the things that I can say, Serendipity, have you ever heard of a pulse form?
No.
So it's basically a form where, like, if your grandparents or if your parents are, elderly and they go into the hospital, it's a do not resuscitate order.
Oh, DNR. Okay, I know the DNR.
Right. So I feel like that should be more of a colloquial conversation that many women should have with their physicians when they find out that they are pregnant, as far as, if the unfortunate, like that woman in Georgia who, I believe she had a stroke and then the family kept her alive for, I just feel like that should be a form that should be just as binding as a do not resuscitate order. So as we, navigate this nuanced field as a society in 2025, I just don't see anything wrong with that being something that would be supported in court. You know what I mean?
Yeah, her family is not kept her alive. It was the Georgia Heartbeat Law that made the hospital keep her alive against her family's wishes.
Right, but in this situation, what I'm referring to is, if somebody... And I feel like even for the family, it can't get any more clear with how they can reconcile with what their loved one's wishes are. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I guarantee you they wouldn't take back their grandson at this point either. Roger.
What's up?
Threats of violence in the chat.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Oh, Purge. Oh, Purge guy. He's back.
Well, hold on. He just threatened to kill me, so that is a threat. He is, everyone please report that. Thank you.
Welcome.
Okay, this is the latest Grok query. Hey, Grok, how many Americans have been aborted since 1960, and how much has the U.S. government spent on abortions? Also, break down the total number of abortions by race and income. Since 1960, 66 million abortions have been performed in the United States, per Johnston's archive estimates to 2025. So 66 million since 1960. Direct government spending limited by high federal is $1 billion total since 1977 for exceptions. That can't be right. By race, 73 to 2019, white non-Hispanics are 48% at 29 million. Blacks, non-Hispanic, 19 million at 31%. Hispanic, 9 million at 15%, other 6%. By income, less than 41%. Those stats don't make sense. But anyways, that's my Grok query with regards to abortion.
Please respond to the poll question above. Thank you.
What if you don't like those answers?
No, but what if it's all the answers?
Well,
Hi, Anne.
it turns out that more whites have been killed from abortion than blacks.
And can you explain to me how a woman's right to choose and black genocide could all be true at the same time?
Do we need to explain it? Who needs it?
Do you believe a woman should be able to choose black genocide?
No, I don't think that women should be able to choose if they want someone to live or not. That includes the fetus in her stomach. That includes her neighbor. That includes someone she dislikes. Yeah. Am I wrong?
Hold on. My dogs are getting crazy.
I think his point was the first option in the choose, all of them are right, is the woman choose.